this part of the video. So as the last sum of completing square methods, we are going to try and find the roots of our standard form. Can we do that? This is the final sum of completing square method. That means this is the last sum. Last, okay? ये method कब खत्म हो जाएगा? But the sum that we are going to solve, or the equation that we are going to solve, is our standard equation. Can we try that? Let us try. So now our equation is ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0. Do you remember the steps of completing the square method? The first step was that you have to eliminate the coefficient of x square. The coefficient of x square should be 1. So we are going to try to eliminate its existing coefficient, which is a, right? Which is a. How do we do that? How do we make the coefficient 1? By dividing the entire equation by a. तो उसका coefficient क्या बन जाएगा? 1. Shall we start? Dividing the entire equation by a. क्या रह गया? We have x square plus b upon a x plus c upon a equals to 0. Once we obtain 1 as the coefficient of your first term, what is the next step that we take? The next step we take is constant should be on the right hand side. Constant किधर है? It is on the left hand side. We don't need it there. We need to shift it. Let's shift it. So we have x square plus b upon ax is equals to minus c upon a. हो गया? Excellent. Then, now that we have our equation, let us number it and then find the third term. We should find the third term. Third term मिलेगा कैसे? How do we get the third term? We get the third term by a simple formula, which is half into coefficient of x whole square. Half into coefficient of x whole square, right? Can you tell me what is the coefficient of x over here? Coefficient of x is b upon a. Coefficient of x is b upon a. Take it down. What do we have then? Half into b upon a whole square. You can simply write it as b upon 2a. You simply multiply the numerator to numerator, denominator to denominator. So you have 1 times b is b, 2 times a is 2a whole square. We'll have b square upon 4a square, right? Did you get this? Square कर लिया तो हमें third term मिल गया. We have the third term. What do we do with this third term? We add it to both the sides of our equation. ये equation है, you take the third term, you add it to both the sides of your equation. So our equation becomes x square plus b upon ax plus b square upon 4a square is equals to b square upon 4a square minus c upon a. क्या हुआ? You add b square upon 4a square over here. This is the plus term, this is the minus term. So I'll write the plus term before, I'll write the minus term later. It's the same thing. 4 में 5 मिलाओ, 5 में 4 मिलाओ. Answer तो नहीं आना है, right? This is the same thing that we did over here. हो गया ये? Did you understand this? Now that we have added the term on both the sides, what do? We take the square form of your left hand side. We need to express the left hand side in its square form. So ये left hand side है. How do we express in its root form or square form? What do? Is we take the first term का root, which is x, then we go to the last term and उसका root. So b square upon 4a square becomes b upon 2a. We go to the middle term, we take its sign and we place it in between the 2 and whole square, right? And then we simplify whatever is in the right hand side. How do you simplify this? This is fraction subtraction. How do you perform factor subtraction? What is in दोनों का LCM? LCM is 4a square. How do we make this term 4a square? By multiplying this by 4a. बराबर? So we have b square upon 4a square minus 4 into 4a into c is 4ac upon 4a into a is 4a square ये 4a कॉमन है, तो we can write the denominator once, and in the numerator subtraction होगा, which is b square minus 4ac. Is this understood? Is this understood? How did we perform fraction subtraction? So our right hand side term will be b square minus 4ac upon 4a square. Fine? Then once you have simplified the entire equation, what do you do then? You take the square root of both the sides and obtain the solution, right? You take square roots of both the sides. Now when you take square roots of both the sides, left hand side में क्या होगा? बस ये square चला जाएगा, and you're left with whatever is inside the bracket, which is x plus b upon 2a. What about this side? Take a look at the numerator. इसका root पता है क्या हमें? Unfortunately, we do not know the root of the numerator, but we know the root of the denominator. 4 का root is 2, a square का root is a. So you have plus or minus root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. But we need the value of x. We need to write down the solution. So to get the value of x, we will shift the constant onto the other side. So when we do that, what happens? We have x is equals to minus b upon 2a plus or minus root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Can you observe in the two fractions, denominator is the same, right? मैंने जब ये यहाँ पे shift किया तो ये minus हो गया. And observe the denominators, they're absolutely the same. So we can write it once, right? Because the denominator is common, you can write it once and get minus b plus or minus root b square minus 4ac. ये क्या बन गया? Formula of some sorts. This is your formula method. So basically you're going to remember this formula to solve the next section of the lesson, alright, the next section of the chapter. So what we are going to do is, we will remember this formula and then solve sums based on formula method. You remember when we were talking about quadratic equations ka introduction, we saw that quadratic equations can be solved by 3 different methods. They can be solved using 3 different methods. The first one was factorization method, right? The first was factorization method by splitting the middle term. Recall anything? The second one was completing square method. And now we are going to be starting with the third one, which is formula method. So using completing square method case steps, we found out the formula. Now we are going to remember this and we are going to take it forward to solve quadratic equations by formula method. Formula क्या है? एक बार फिर से, x is equals to minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac upon 2a. Alright? I hope you will remember this formula. Even if you aren't able to remember, there's a derivation. इतना सब करने से बेहतर है इसको याद कर लो, right? Either way is absolutely fine. Alright? Thank you.